for. We gon' take it up from last year. Shoot on my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down. Aiming for greatness, no settling. Kick down the doors, they won't let me in. Taking no L's, yeah, I gotta win. Watch me kick down the doors, they won't let me in. Who running the game now? Foot on the gas, can slow down. No, my team, we holding it down. We know we running it now. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change, yeah. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. I do not gamble, but bet on me. Tell them this life, yeah, it's still of it. I'm taking a shot for my enemies. I can't waste no more time on my energy. I know they know I got it on lock. Go against me, that's a long shot. Cause I'm counting wins all around the clock. Never doubt me, boy, I don't stop. Who do you feel when they make you the monster? I am not scared of none of you imposters. Taking the lead now while they watching. Think you should leave now while the option. Taking no L's, yeah, I gotta win. Watch me kick down the doors, they won't let me in. I'm running the game now. Foot on the gas, can slow down, no.
Let's fucking go, man. Let's fucking go. I told you on the last pod. I told you on the last pod that I am running out of shit to say, and that continues to be the case. Game in and game out. This Cavaliers team is fucking phenomenal. Now, I gotta start the pod off with this. Cleveland Cavaliers entered tonight 61-83 all time, including the playoffs against the Golden State Warriors. Many of those battles, as we all know, we all watched it play out, came during the second LeBron tenure where the Cavs and Golden State Warriors met in 4 straight NBA finals. However, that era of the rivalry ended upon LBJ's exit. Since then, it's honestly been heavily one-sided, with Cleveland going just 2 of 9 against them since the start of the 2018-19 campaign. And with that said, the Cavaliers had at least won the last 2 against them heading into tonight and had a chance to make it 3 straight. And that's exactly what they fucking did. I mean, the Cavaliers dropped 136 points on these motherfuckers in this game. 83 of those points came in the first half, a franchise record. The Cavaliers have only scored 80 plus, I believe, 3 times in franchise history. They've done so 3 times prior to tonight in franchise history. Tonight is the 4th time they've done that in a first half of a game. Oh my God, we are witnessing something special. We are witnessing something special about this team. 136 points, and nobody played more than 30 minutes for this Cavaliers team. It was absolutely belt to ass. I mean, it was the quintessential example of belt to ass. I mean, there are no real words to describe what we have been visualizing with this team. I mean, seriously, you got production from up and down the roster. Everybody who played in the main rotation tonight, that being Darius, Donovan, Isaac, who started in the place of DeMolish, who came back, by the way, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen in that starting 5. Ty Jerome, we're going to talk about him in a little bit. Karis LeVert, Wade, as I just mentioned, Merrill, and Niang. Every single one of those guys scored. And then at the end of the game, Tyson, Craig Porter Jr., and Thompson got in on the action as well. But holy shit, man. I mean, this team, they're doing some crazy things. They shot 14 of 22 in the first half alone. And shit wasn't much different in the third quarter. Although towards the end of that third and in the early stretches of the fourth quarter, the Warriors started to mount a fake comeback. But yeah, they didn't have it in them. Steve Kerr sensed that and didn't really play his starters heavy minutes either. The Cavaliers, on the other hand, reached 100 points with 5 minutes and 30 seconds left in the third quarter. I mean, the Cavaliers still have not scored below 100 points in any of their games on the season so far. And I'm going to make a bit of a declaration here. I don't think it happens this year. I think they will become the second team in NBA history to score 100 or more in each and every game of this season. I think it is very possible with the way that this Cavaliers team has begun this season. And sometimes, I mean, not all starts are the same. You know, again, prior to tonight's game, only I want to say only 10 teams in NBA history have started off 9-0. And I mentioned it before on the pod and in a crossover pod with Mike McNuggets of Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. 4 of those teams went on to win NBA championships. I think this team is heading in that direction. And we don't even have Max Strus. Imagine what this shit will look like when we get Max Strus back out there. And there is a whole other aspect, a whole nother gear that this team could probably hit once that happens. And we're going to have some tough conversations upon that time in regards to the rotation. But I don't know what the fuck we watched tonight. I mean, some of my favorite players really had big games. Y'all know I'm about as big of an Isaac Okoro stan as there is. And my boy was playing some damn good basketball, especially in that first half. He would finish the night with 16 points, 4 assists, shot 6 of 10 from the field, and even more important than that, he shot 4 of 6 from 3-point range. Was a plus 32. He led the team in plus minus. This man, he was playing some of the best perimeter defense that we've seen out of him all season. He was knocking down shots, and he was actually dishing out some Okoro in a very long time out there. And I just don't understand. I do not understand why why people wanted to give up on Isaac so quickly when this man is so young. And I say quickly kind of loosely because I get this. It's not like he just came into the league or anything. But the reality is that not all development is linear. Sometimes it just takes the right voice to get the most out of said player. And Kenny Atkinson has gotten the most out of Isaac Okoro, and he's gotten the most out of a number of players on this roster. But Isaac Okoro in particular, his performance tonight in place of Max Strus, in place of Dean Wade, that was an excellent choice by Kenny Atkinson to go with him tonight. And that is no disrespect to either one of those players. Dean is obviously, they're going to be managing him all season long in an effort to keep him healthy. And I think that is the right choice. Couldn't be any happier with that. But it warms my heart. Those of you who have listened to me yap about this team at all in the past couple of seasons know how much it warms my heart to see my boy playing ball out there. And I love it, man. I absolutely love what we got out of Isaac Okoro tonight. And Isaac wasn't the only performance that I absolutely loved. Ty Jerome, 6th Man of the Year campaign agenda starts now. It really started at the beginning of the season because this man's been absolutely balling. I mean, another night in which he is a truly impactful presence in that second unit, being the player that honestly many people thought he was incapable of becoming after that ankle injury and subsequent surgery. Lo and behold, another big time performance from him. 20 points, 7 of 8 from the field, 3 of 3 from 3-point distance, 3 of 3 from the line. Whew. I just don't know what else to say, man. So I'll let Ty say it for me. Ty Jerome over Curry tonight. Yes, Steph Curry in his 24 minutes, 24 huge minutes. I mean, these are two teams that employ heavy rotation, so nobody's playing a ton of minutes on either side. But Steph Curry played just 24 minutes tonight, and some of that was due to the blowout nature of this game. But just 12 points, 2 assists, 5 of 10 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3-point distance, and the best part, 6 turnovers. 6 turnovers for Steph Curry. I absolutely love this fucking team, man. I'm ready to declare them a championship contender. I don't give a fuck. I know it's 10 games in. I don't care. It's not the fact that this team is winning. It is how they are winning. And I understand that second half, I've seen some comments down here already alluding to, and we heard it during the broadcast too, with the Cavaliers especially having a game tomorrow, the habits. some of the bad habits that you don't want to see form in the closing minutes of a game or in the latter half of a game when you feel like it's out of reach. I understand that. Some of the lackadaisical nature of, turning the ball over and whatnot, settling for shots that you can probably get a better possession out of. And I understand these things. But I was never truly worried about that. If anything, I was really wanting Atkinson to go ahead and pull the starters earlier than he actually did. The Cavaliers, after dropping 83 in the first half, would definitely slow things down in that second half. Make no mistake, as they got outscored by Golden State 41-29 in the third, and then 34-24 in the fourth. But this game never felt close at all. Cleveland just absolutely ran away with it, and possibly could have been even worse had we really kept our foot on the pedal. This game had the makings of a potential 150 point, 160 point performance based upon what we saw. I mean, just keep that in mind. I mean, this team, again, nobody played more than 30 minutes. Your two leaders tonight in minutes were Jarrett Allen and Darius Garland, who each played 30 minutes. Donovan only played 26. And as I was on the crossover pod with Mikey the other day, one of the things that he said to me that really, really resonated was the fact that Donovan Mitchell in years prior, because this is now, if I'm not mistaken, was his third year in Cleveland. In his prior two seasons, he prided himself on being the guy to, take the shots when it mattered down the stretch in the regular season and, hold himself accountable to win every single game. But I think Donovan himself is starting to realize that he can rely on the guys around him, and he doesn't have to play hero ball on some of the more important possessions of the game. Because after all, learning how to win, becoming a winner, getting that winning mentality, a lot of that has to do with trust, right? Trusting your teammates to make the right decisions, to make the right plays, and believing in your teammates to come through when you need them to. And I think we're going to find out as the season rolls on that Donovan is comfortable taking a step back and letting other guys cook when needed. I mean, tonight, Darius Garland, this is another huge Darius Garland performance, by the way, 27 points, 9 of 17 from the field, including 6 of 3 from three-point distance. This dude, Darius Garland, is shooting the absolute lights out on the season from three-point distance. I mean, prior to tonight's game, Darius Garland had averaged just 19.3 points, and I say just, right? Just 19.3 points, 5.7 assists, and 2.9 rebounds in his 9 career matchups against the Warriors. But the problem often was that he was inefficient while doing so. 35.6% from the field and 30.6% from three-point distance in those previous matchups coming into tonight. And lo and behold, Darius has a massive performance. He's efficient as hell. He's conducting and orchestrating out there, and he is not afraid to pull the trigger when necessary. So I'm happy that all of this has come together. Huge credit to Kenny Atkinson. I'm already ready to declare this dude the coach of the year front runner for what he has been able to do. And I get it. We are just 10 games in, but like I said, it's not just the fact that we're winning these games. It's how we're doing it. It's the looks that we're generating, the sets that we are running, the fact that we're getting out on possessions and running early offense. It's the excitement that we see, the vibes that we see from this team, both on the court and perceived in the locker room during some of these interviews that we have seen. This is the closest to the 2021-22 season in terms of a vibe standpoint that we have seen since Donovan Mitchell got to town. And obviously there was no pressure during that season, and there is this season to perform, but I think they're balancing it out. They're having fun out there, and that is such an underrated aspect of winning, of having a good winning culture, is having fun, because after all, they're playing a damn game out there. I mean, how can you not? Winning typically definitely, cures all and definitely covers up some of the bad habits or any perceived animosity on a roster or in the locker room. But I just don't get the feel from this team that they struggle in any of these areas. They legitimately look like a team that is bonded together and under one vision, one goal, and that is to win a motherfucking championship. And I think that that is certainly within the realm of possibility. And you wouldn't know it based upon the offseason that they had, that this would be the swing that happened so quickly. But guys, I gotta let you on in a little secret. You just never know when championship windows open or when they close for specific teams. I think this team, their title window is open. I think they are opening that shit up right now as we speak. We are watching something special play out. You just don't know how often that comes across. And this is coming from a team that absolutely nobody picked to be a championship contender entering this season because of perceived fit issues in both the backcourt and the front court, because of a perceived lack of depth, because of what we saw over the past couple of seasons with largely the same roster intact. But sometimes you just need the right man to lead the way. And I think that is what we have gotten from Kenny Atkinson so far. And we don't even have one of our 10 best players in Max Strus out there. And I think there's an entirely different gear that they can hit once he does come back. But this game in particular, this was honestly, and I shit you not, this might have been one of the best performances, at least in that first half, that I have ever seen in my life from any team ever. I mean, I'm not shitting you. The way that they moved the ball, the way that the shots were falling, the demoralizing look on the faces of the Golden State Warriors, Draymond Green looking absolutely deflated out there, picking up early fouls. I think, what did he have? 4 fouls in the first half. They just don't look. They did not look like they were having a good time out there. And I love that because I fucking hate the Golden State Warriors. I don't know about you guys. There's a mutual respect there. The rivalry is not what it once was because, frankly, I mean, let's be honest. The rivalry itself felt like it left with LeBron during that second tenure. And they have absolutely owned us since LeBron left. But, these last 3 games, we've come out victorious. The Cavaliers are now on a 3-game winning streak dating back to last season against this Warriors team, against Steph Curry and company. And you know what? Fuck them. I'm at a point right now where I'm ready to talk a whole bunch of shit. I am hype right now on this team. I'm drinking all the Kool-Aid. I do believe that it is time to talk about title aspirations. It is time to talk about title aspirations for this team. Now, am I saying that is the expectation at this point? No, I am not saying that at all. I am saying that we can see a title this year. It is possible. It is possible. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I did not see them taking this big of a leap this year. After all, didn't make any huge moves in the offseason outside of retaining most of their core 4, right? You handed out contracts to Donovan. You handed out contracts to Evan, to Jarrett. You handed out a contract to Isaac Okoro, who people were... Don't even get me fucking started on the people who have been poo-pooing Isaac Okoro for the longest. And they act like the money that the Cavaliers gave him was not worth it. Nights like tonight show you the importance of having an Isaac Okoro on your roster. 16 points, 4 assists does not sound like a lot, but let me tell you, what he means to this team is sometimes not quantifiable by your typical box score stats. This was as good as any game that we have ever seen Isaac Okoro play. I love it. I love it. Not going to continue with the stay on that side antics. Stock, real estate, whatever you want to call it, on Isaac Okoro Island is still up for grabs. Jump on the bandwagon. It is becoming increasingly clear to me that even once Max Strus returns, I don't think you can pull Isaac. Frankly, I don't know who you pull because basically all of these guys are contributing, even George Niang, right? It might be the case. It might be the case when Max comes back that you have to just go with an even more expansive rotation. Maybe instead of playing 10 players a night like Kenny has been doing, you do 11. I don't know. I'm just at a loss right now. I don't know what the fuck you do because all of these guys deserve to play. They all deserve to play. None of them. I want y'all to tell me in the comments right now, those of you that are watching live, whether it be over on X or on YouTube. Hopefully you're watching on YouTube, hitting that like button. But I want y'all to tell me in the comments, because I'm scratching my head here. I don't know who the fuck to remove, because all of these guys feel deserving of minutes. So I'm just gonna ask you guys to write it in the comments right now. When Max comes back, do you just go to an 11-man rotation, or do you pull somebody? And if you pull somebody, who the hell is it going to be? Because I feel like all of these guys deserve to be in there, especially Okoro. He's just so versatile from a defensive standpoint, being able to guard some of the best perimeter players out there and spot starting in an instant. So I don't know, man. I'm at a loss. I'm happy to see him finally get his due. I'm happy to finally see him get some respect from Cavs fans in general. And it feels like sacrilege that I've barely even mentioned Donovan Mitchell tonight, who scored 12 points on 4 of 13. This is another night where Donovan Mitchell has not necessarily had it going. The other night was against Milwaukee when Darius Garland had to lead the way, much like he did tonight at points. But this is another game in which Donovan didn't really have it, right? 12 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, 4 of 13 from the field, 2 of 7 from three-point distance. Still managed to be a +7 even with that. And it just goes to show you how deep this team is, how simple it is, how easy it is for them to flip the proverbial switch and any one of their guys going off at the drop of a hat. It's crazy, man. It is literally crazy that one of your stars can have an off night, yet you can look to, any number of other players on the roster and expect that you're going to get production. Expect that you have the ability now to lean on them in ways that you could not in the previous couple of seasons during the JB Bickerstaff era. And it warms my heart truly to see that. Whew. On the Golden State side of things, I mean, we pegged this matchup as some type of massive showdown that should have been on ESPN instead of League Pass. And I still believe that, but it's not as if Golden State really showed up either. I mean, they really did not. I mean, just to kind of give you a little context, this is one of the best teams in the NBA in their run. They entered 7-1, if I'm not mistaken. They are a top 3 team in terms of points per game. They score 121 points, 121.1 points per game. They finished below that at 117 tonight. They averaged the most rebounds per game at 49.5. They're top 5 in assists. They're top 3 in blocks. They're top 5 in steals. I mean, they're top 5 in three-pointers made. They're top 5 in three-point percentage. I mean, you name it. You call the stat out, and they're a good-ass team. And the Cavaliers just made them look like a G League team out there at points, especially in that first half. And one of the players that I was most interested to watch tonight was Buddy Hield, right? Buddy Hield, who has been absolutely ballistic against Cleveland from an efficiency standpoint across his 21 career matchups against this team. And just to add to that, he is in those 21 matchups, he has averaged 15.8 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 3 assists. But the real kicker is the efficiency. In those 21 games, Buddy Hield has managed to shoot 51.5% from the field, including a blistering, I mean, a staggering 51.1% from three-point distance. This motherfucker can shoot the lights out, and that's coming on high volume. A career, at least prior to tonight, a career 51.1% from three-point range on 141 attempts. Just absolutely bonkers shooting from Buddy Hield prior to tonight against the Cavs. And guess what? Buddy Hield was held to 3 points on 1 of 4 from the field, including 1 of 4 from three-point distance in his 19 minutes. The Cavaliers absolutely shut the water off. They shut shit down. And I cannot give enough credit to them. And it's not like Golden State is, like I said, they put up a ton of points per game. They have, I think, a top 3 defense in terms of defensive rating. This is by no means a bad team. And what if people have been saying all season long about the start that the Cavaliers have had? Oh, you're playing shitty ass teams. You ain't played nobody yet. You ain't played playoff caliber competition. This certainly qualifies as that. 7-1 entering tonight. They just beat the fuck out of the Warriors, and you love to see it. I mean, 10-0, First time in franchise history, Kenny Atkinson continues to help this team set records. And Kenny, by the way, first head coach, right? I think he now owns the record. 10-0 is the best start for a head coach starting in a new spot, right? Best start. Love that for Kenny. And it is very, very clear to me that he has picked up little tidbits from each coach that he has played with, whether that not played with, whether each spot that he has coached at, right? With most recently that being with the Golden State Warriors, and you can't discount France, right? The Paris Olympics that certainly counts too, but it's clear to me that he has picked up and learned a lot since his first head coaching stint with the Brooklyn Nets, and this team hasn't even reached their apex yet. We have so far. We have so much more left to offer, and we're not even playing at peak efficiency yet. We're not even playing our best basketball. Wait till we get Max back. Wait till we get these guys completely in rhythm. And honestly, this is the most cohesive I have ever seen this Cleveland team look. This is the most cohesive team that I have ever seen this iteration of the Cavaliers look. And that's coming on a night where Donovan has a terribly inefficient game, 4-13 from the field, 12 points. You can lean on other guys. The bench, if I'm not mistaken, let's see here. 20 from Jerome, 8 from Karras. That's 28 right there. You got 3 from Wade, 31 if my math is correct. 36, including Merrill's 5, and then 7 from Niang. That's 4. They got 45 points. They got 45 fucking points from their bench. It continues to amaze me how they're able to win games. Dr. Claw 77 says every win has been a 110 plus point score for the Cavs. Cavs are the only 10 plus win start to do that. Cavaliers have scored 130 plus points in 5 games this season. I think they said they only did 134 times last season, and they scored a franchise record 135 points, 130 points for the 5th time this season, and we're only 10 games in, which ties a franchise record. So many records being broken already. It is insane. And in terms of percentages tonight, 54% from the field on 85 shots, including 48% from three-point distance. Another night in which they shoot above 45% from three-point range on 42 attempts. Holy hell. And again, I continue to say, this is without Max Strus, one of the better shooters on this team. I just can't wait, man. I cannot wait. And again, Cavaliers on this season prior to tonight entered second in terms of three-point percentage at 42.1%. I think it's fair to say that after tonight's performance, they might leapfrog the Knicks once more, as those two have been flip-flopping to start this early portion of the season. I think the same can be said for their total three-pointers made, where they rank 3rd prior to tonight with 138. The additional 20 is definitely going to help in that regard. So, man, let me tell you, there just is not a lot that we can say for that. I don't know what kind of words to use. I really don't know what kind of words to use. D Jackson says, what if we got 82-0? Do you think we can do it? Honestly, I hope, right? We all hope, and never rule anything out. It's always on the table until it isn't. Until the Cavaliers lose a game, yeah, I'm going to hope they go 82-0. Now, if I'm being realistic about it, no, I do not believe that the Cleveland Cavaliers will go 82-0. If I'm being realistic, I think that a 74-8 record, which would topple the 2015-2016 Warriors record of 73-9, is certainly possible. And, I certainly think 65 plus wins is possible at this rate. I think that we can do it. This is a large enough sample size to say, hey, we've played good competition. We know the type of basketball that we want to play. We have a game plan for how we want to operate from a rotational standpoint. Why not? Why not us? Right? Why not us? Why can't we break another record? Decafam says, so are we going to let some bench guys get more minutes? If they keep this up, the finals are real. I think when Max comes back, I think they they probably go 11 deep. I don't think you want to play like 12, 13 players or anything like that. Get super unconventional because you don't want guys to get out of rhythm. To me, in my opinion, there is such a thing as playing too few minutes for the starters, especially guys like Darius and Donovan and Evan. Evan, especially for developmental purposes. I don't want him to be playing like 26, 27 minutes per game consistently throughout the duration of the season. I do want to see him play extended minutes simply for developmental purposes. He needs those reps, especially in terms of bringing the ball up the court. There are certainly things that we want to see from this Cavaliers team in terms of depth and utilizing it to its fullest extent, but I don't want to see them go 13 deep. I don't want to see them go 12 deep. And Mamadou says Kerr goes 12 deep. Yes, he does, but in my opinion, it's a little bit different over there for why they do that. The Cavaliers, in terms of what they have from a positional standpoint, I don't want to see. If you're looking at the rotation right now, the only players who really are not in the rotation right now, if you're not factoring in Max Strus and you're not factoring in two-way players, are Jalen Tyson, Craig Porter Jr., and Tristan Thompson. Is there a real need right now to play either of those three guys? You could probably say Tyson, I suppose, but when Max comes back, you're already going to have to deal with where are we going to get those minutes from? Where are we going to get those minutes from? Because you're going to be pulling those from Okoro, who is deserving. You're going to be pulling them from Wade, who has been deserving. You're going to be pulling them from Karras, potentially, and Merrill. There's definitely a trickle-down effect. So I do think that you have to be careful doing that. Now, the one area where I could say they possibly could look to play a 12 to 13 players if they had a real backup 4 or 5 outside of Tristan Thompson. Because I think this team has they're jam-packed at guard. They have a lot of 6'5", 6'4" players. So I just don't think that – I think you have to take that type of thing into consideration. I really do. Beast Girl says 65 and 17 I can see if fully healthy. Certainly think it's possible. And honestly, this is coming in – prior to this season, people were thinking that the Eastern Conference was going to be pretty tight. And it very well still could be, but it feels like Boston, Cleveland, or Cleveland, Boston, however you want to flip-flop these teams, and everybody else. I think things will level out. I really do. But 60-plus games certainly feels doable. D. Jackson says, Curry wasn't Curry tonight. Absolutely not. Again, Steph Curry tonight in 24 minutes was 12 points, 5 of 10 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3-point distance. AutoCash says, Coach challenged this team tonight, and they met it. They absolutely did. This was a big-time matchup. Another huge performance, and they came through. They were mentally sharp, mentally prepared, and I love it, man. I really, really love it because we have entered a few games already this season in which you felt like, hey, this has possible trap game written all over it. That Pelicans game the other day, that Orlando game without Paolo Banchero, that felt like it. The Washington game, these are games that felt like potential trap games. And guess what? Cleveland came to play, and damn near each one of them. They've been tested already, and they've come through with flying colors. I mean, Matthew Maxiel says they do have JT Thor. Yeah, when I was saying that, I said not counting the two-way players. And I think that they will look to kind of sprinkle in these two-way talents and in JT Thor, Emoni when he gets back eventually, and Luke Travers, who you guys know I love. But again, there are guys that, even with those, there are guys ahead of them that are also deserving of minutes in terms of Craig Porter Jr. and Jalen Tyson. And again, I think there's a such thing as going too deep into your rotation at times. You're going to obviously look to get players minutes when you have the ability to, if it's a blowout, but I don't want them to play too many players in meaningful minutes. I don't want to take certain guys out of rhythm. Pranav Sarvaram says, interesting strategy the Cavs used of not missing a shot to counteract the Warriors rebounding. That legitimately, that's a good one. That's a good one. Again, the Warriors entered tonight as the NBA's leading rebounding team at 49.5 boards per game. And interestingly enough, they actually pulled down about 6+ more rebounds than the Cavaliers do on the season, despite having a size disadvantage. They rebound so well from a team perspective, despite having no one averaging more than, I believe, Kevon Looney's 8.4. HJ17 Gaming says, just saying DG outplayed Dame and Curry within a week. DG's back to being a fucking all-star. Put some respect on my guy's name. I mean, that has been the best part of the season to me. There have been great aspects to this season, whether it be Isaac Okoro and George Niang being quality rotational pieces, or Evan Mobley's development from the three-point line already. But Darius Garland, his return to all-star caliber play, that by far for me personally has been the best part, because so many people are ready to give up on this dude. They're ready to trade him for lesser talent in the name of fit with Donovan Mitchell. I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad Kobe Altman did not listen to the pressure from the media, from the fans, from analysts. I mean, it's just, he stood his ground. He stood his ground. Darius Garland will be an all-star this year with the way that he is playing. I truly do believe that. Whew. DS says Australian Larry Bird. I think you're referring to Luke Travers. I love it. Yep, mullet. To me, he looks like Billy from Stranger Things. Richard Hacker says Maxey out 3 weeks. That definitely hurts. We know that pain all too well, because let me knock on wood now. The Cavaliers know the injury struggle. They have dealt with that, what feels like every single season over these last couple of years, whether it be Evan Mobley or Darius breaking his jaw, or Jarrett Allen breaking a rib or having a rib contusion, however you want to classify that. It goes back even further than that. I mean, it really and truly does. HJ17 Gaming says, thank God the Cavs didn't trade for Ingram. So happy about that, especially with the contract looming large with him and how much money he's seemingly wanting to be paid. Holden Osbeck says, barring injury, we'll have 4 all-stars, right? I certainly believe that it is possible. This is another question that Mikey asked me over on Ultimate Cavaliers the other day. I do believe they have potentially 4 all-stars. I think at the very least they will send 2. And I think those 2 will probably be Donovan and Darius. I do believe that Evan and Jarrett do have an outside shot. And we must understand the impact that winning can have on sending players to the All-Star game. If the Warriors can do it, with Draymond Green averaging less than 13 plus points per game, so can Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley, who are by far exceeding that and playing stellar defense, might I add. And let's not forget the 2014-2015 Atlanta Hawks, who managed to do so while not really having any true big-time statistical performances. They got in because they were cohesive and they won a ton of games during the regular season. So I definitely believe that the Cavaliers could potentially send up to 4 players, but we got to turn out. We got to vote, right? We got to vote these guys in and hope that they are garnering enough attention league wide now after this game and after some of the performances to open this season with this 10-0 start, that the NBA world in general is paying attention to them, that they're seeing how impactful that they have been, that they'll vote them. And I really truly believe that that'll end up being the case. Richard Hacker says, can Cavs play West All-Stars? I mean, if we could, that would certainly help getting these guys here. D Jackson says, Cavs really started hotter than fish grease. Absolutely, man. I love it. This could not have been a better start. I don't think any of us truly envisioned the Cavaliers starting 10-0. If you are, you're a fucking liar. If you're telling me right now in your head prior to the season with some of the matchups that they had that you believe that they would be 10-0 up to this point, I'm calling you out right now as a liar because I don't think any of us could have imagined that they would be this dominant to start the season. Richard Hacker says Cavs 10 against West All-Stars. Nick Mormon says, at the rate the East is going, it'll be a combination of Boston and Cleveland against the West. It very well could be. And mind you, I don't even think Kristaps Porzingis is back for Boston yet, if I'm not mistaken. That is another all-star caliber player that they could potentially have once he finally gets fully healthy. He's still out. And I think they're saying he's targeting like a December return, but they're being real patient with Kristaps. And just like we don't have Max out there, that could potentially take them to a whole nother level as well. D Jackson says, at that, we got upcoming games that we can beat most definitely. Yeah, I mean, taking a look at the Cavaliers schedule, we obviously have Brooklyn tomorrow. That is a matchup that another one of those trap type games where you don't want to lower yourself to sleep thinking that, this is an automatic dub, because it is not. Every team in the NBA has players at this level for a reason. All these guys, they're not just going to lay down while you look to continue your historic start to try and begin 11-0 on the season. And ditto for the Chicago Bulls. These are games that are not going to be penciled in as W's. You're going to have to bring it. You're going to have to be mentally bought in and ready to perform. And then you're looking at Philadelphia. So we'll see. We shall see how they manage to fare over these next couple of games. The betting man in me says, you know what? I'm looking at a slate of Brooklyn, Chicago, Philly, Chicago again, Charlotte, and then the eventual November 19th matchup against Boston. I think, honestly, until we get to Boston, we could be undefeated. It's possible. I'm not going to pencil it in just yet because I don't want to disrespect these other teams out there. I want us to take I want us to take these games real serious, one game at a time. But I am really, really looking forward to this November 19th matchup against the Boston Celtics, which, by the way, is going to be in TD Garden in Boston. So that should be another big time performance. We shall see. Talking to Grub and Media says, "What's up, Mac? What a dominating win, but the national media will still downplay the Cavs' start as strength of schedule and haven't played anybody." I do not believe that we haven't played any. Well, I know what you're saying. You're saying that the mainstream media is going to say we still haven't played anybody. But considering that we have played Milwaukee, we've played New York, we've played LA, we've played Orlando, we have played Golden State, all teams that, either are or have been playoff level teams or will eventually turn out to be once guys get healthy. I think that changes. So, I mean, I don't know. It may take some time for everybody from a national media perspective to come around on this team, but I got to say, I think they're going to start to after tonight's performance. They absolutely put belt to ass tonight. Nick Mormon says, "I just know Cam Thomas is going to piss me off tomorrow." Hey, we said that about Buddy Hield coming into today, and we held Buddy Hield to 3 points. Take it with a grain of salt, I guess, but I'm not scared of nobody right now. I'm truly not afraid of anybody. He also, Real Talk Tone says, "Brooklyn played overtime tonight. We got rest. That helps a lot. They'll be tired." Yeah, and honestly, it feels like we've played a ton of games in such a short period of time. We've had a lot of flights already, but getting guys rest, it definitely helps with that on the nature of these back-to-backs. Let's see here. Nick Warman says, "It's egregious. The NBA don't give the Cavs back-to-back days off until the weekend before Thanksgiving." Hell, I'm pissed about it, right? But the Cavaliers, they don't seem to be impacted all that much. So let's fucking go. Deck Farm says, "Bone Thugs should do a halftime show for a throwback jersey night. Would be fire." Gotta love Bone Thugs in Harmony. I mean, they're Cleveland staple. One of the best to ever do it. One of the best hip-hop groups to ever do it. Real Talk Tone says, "BR power ranking still had us number 3 and Boston number 1. And now we beat the team that just beat them." Honestly, you can't tell me shit else. The Cavaliers are the best team in the NBA until further notice. November 19th is going to be the biggest game of the season up to that point between these two teams. And I truly believe the Cavaliers match up very well against Boston. So I cannot fucking wait. Richard Hacker says, "Yes, Nick, not right in regards to power rankings, I think. Or the days off in regards to Thanksgiving." Provida, number 1. Appreciate you, man. Says, "Smash the like button, folks. Hopefully you guys have done so already or do so before you end up leaving the stream tonight. Probably getting ready to shut this down." Patrick Clare says, "Ultimate trap game tomorrow." And that's exactly what I'm saying, man. Like against Brooklyn, you never truly want to walk in thinking that you're going to leave out with the W. You never want to do that in any NBA game because those are pros too on the other side, and they can beat you. They do have guys who can put up points, as we've already seen with Cam Thomas. Real Talk Tone says, "We've played way better players than Cam Thomas. We good, don't worry." And that's what I'm talking about. Real talk. We have played better players, but yeah, and Buddy Hield, you can easily make a case as a better player than Cam Thomas in terms of impact out there, especially efficiency. But we don't want to sleep on them. We do not want to sleep on them. That said, as always, tell you guys, if you'd like to reach out to me, you know how you can. It's Cavalier_pod on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and more. If you want to be added to the It's Cavalier Discord chat, you know what to do. Leave a rating, leave a review, send a screenshot, a said review to It's Cavalier53@gmail.com, and I will send you an invite. If you're watching over on X, do me a favor, go over to YouTube right now, hit that like button, subscribe if you are not yet subscribed to the channel. I try and go live as much as I can. I think I've gone live after every game this season. That's a new high for me. That is a new high for me, and I'm going to try to keep the gravy chain rolling against Brooklyn tomorrow. But until then, go Cavs.